Alors là, c'est
Hello again. So this is our last reading of the day. It's an excerpt from a book called Semiosis. Semiosis by Sue Burke, translated in 2018. I'm going to read out a little explanation of what the book is about. It's a science fiction novel that tells in 7 chapters over 7 generations in 107 years the colonization of a foreign planet by a group of humans. Semiosis refers to linguistics, and it's the evolution of the sign in view of a context. Communication in different forms is a concern of the story, and the evolution gives a new flora and fauna to a planet, different degrees. Tulips are stupid, bamboos are geniuses, and cats are cats. In order to survive, the human community that is developing there needs to understand the planet and its inhabitants and experience alterity. And now we're going to read out a chapter called Stevland. It's like a discussion between plants on humans. Water is life, so say plants at least. I have not discussed spiritual beliefs with the humans, but they celebrate equinoxes and solstices and make many observations of the star. And each star is a sun. I suspect humans have an unarticulated reverence for the sun. Sunshine is predictable, so sun is a suitable object of reverence for cyclical beings like animals. Water is worshipped by plants not because of its necessity, but because of its unpredictability, floods and droughts. We grow and change over time, and we venerate water. As the sun sets, I prepare for worship, not unlike the human spring equinox festival. We plants will celebrate. The spring rains came, leaving the soil deeply moist, a cause for great joy. For we channel the water upward into buds, and new leaves and stems unfold as water fills our cells. We grow. The sensation is pleasurable, in fact jubilant. Humans will gain control, and 2 days ago, glassmakers started communicating with the humans. Only some of them, but limited communication will lead to extensive mutual understanding. Progress occurred, the weather became beneficent, and disaster has given way to optimism and glorious springtime. Spring is the most impatient, exciting, exalted season. We celebrate life. As darkness falls, we plants busy ourselves with catabolism and growth, but we have energy to spare for rejoicing and gift-giving. I send calcium carbide to my neighbors who have water galore to break the molecules into acetylene, which then oxidizes with a delightful flash of energy, entertaining and nutritious. The fight with glassmakers left me tired and dispirited, but I'm recovering, joyful to share, because the victory came with the help of my neighbors. I cannot fully express my happiness and indebtedness to them. We have rain, we have peace, we have life, we grow. I'm pruned, lentil sings. Good, tulips chant, good, good, good. Pineapples sent me isoprenes. You said humans would like terpenes, they say. Here, make me happy. Isoprenes can be made into a number of useful terpenes, such as flavorings, vitamins, or scents. I have been learning the meaning of some of the scents of the glassmakers, and the chemicals are entirely familiar to us plants, such as certain turpentines for alcohol, for example. Any plant can produce dozens, even hundreds of scents, depending on its intelligence and complexity of its flowers and other structures. And often, scent is how we communicate. A scent is how we communicate with lizards and other pollinators. The locustwood speaker gives me a generous amount of zinc ions. Nice work, bamboozler. Nice animals, you humans. Don't forget our agreement. How far south did you wish to go? I send enough calcium carbide to blow apart a rootlet. Move me closer to useful animals, farther from you. I realize that I'm not the only plant with a human root. Name me useful animals. Fish, extinct due to bamboo. Gecko dragon, slow, stupid, and venomous. Perfect for you. Humans work for fancy, fruity, oversized grass. What do they see in you? Fruit eaters like fancy fruit, I tell him. I treat them well. He sends me fructose, fruit sugar. I sent some xylose, wood sugar. Even before I grew a humor root, I understood that sugar is a comical substance because of its chemical structure, excessively fussy. Locust wood is rarely in such a good mood. Sugar! Willows, palms, wheat, yams, even orange trees, we all rejoice at the promise of a productive season and unfold buds to be ready for tomorrow's sunshine. The spring floods are routine and merely annoy most riverside plants, but the snow vine suddenly panics. Bugs gone, bugs gone. Big animals eat bugs. Sap control 2 animals. Water come, bugs gone. It does not realize that the bugs can be replenished, yet I share its concern. The snowflake-shaped scale bugs both fed and drugged the workers and majors. In addition, the floods are creating logistic problems. I sent some calcium carbide to the snow vine. More, it says. I comply and say, water go, bugs come back. Roots good? Roots good. Bugs gone. Big animals eat bugs. Sap control 2 animals. Water come. Bugs gone. Bugs gone. Water go. Bugs come back. Happiness tonight. Happiness tomorrow. I repeat it several times, spicing my message with calcium carbide. And finally, the snow vine calms down. Onions are hardly more vulnerable than tulips, and they are not festive tonight. I'm not sentimental about individual leaves, but onions cover theirs because their growth comes from a single bulb. Pacifists harvest only after the onion develop bulblets for reproduction. The onions suffered untimely predation by the glassmakers until the pesticide, as it suggested, made the glassmakers stop harvesting them. But now their low-lying fields are flooded, which will delay their growth, if not kill them. I send them as much oxygen as I can through my roots. Drowning is a slow, hard way to die. Perhaps the farmers can erect walls to protect them. The rain ain't this afternoon, but the river will continue to rise for several days. Life among humans slowly moves towards balance. No one language is ill or injured in the clinic tonight. The flooding river has made supervision of the orphan glassmakers more difficult, but it has also isolated them. They are too drugged to swim across the rushing water, and this means the guards can relax a bit. In general, the orphans have been behaving more civilly, even without hobbles, and some have even helped me gather food, easing the burden of the humans. Bellona, the female allied with the orphans, has softened her hostility a bit. But is this true domestication? We can't tell, Cedar's saying at the nightly committee meeting. We turn our back, and that could be the chance the orphans are waiting for. I agree, I say. And Nye voices the word for me. Pruning has not been completed yet. You agree, she says? Domestication takes time. I should explain further, but my attention is drawn to the plant festival. The locust wood is using aldose and ketose sugars, or ketose sugars, to construct a joke about water. The punchline is, water's flat, like snowflakes. Of course, but who would have thought of it that way? We need to keep them afraid of us, Cedar says. I try to find an attentive route. Fear will prune their actions. I can't believe we are green. Intelligent actions are few. We're likely to agree, I say, avoiding deeper concerns. I have not checked Cedar's health in a long time. I wish I could. She's behaving erratically, and this could foreshadow more serious problems. I have discovered 5 cases of Jersey's disease since her diagnosis. The patients reported obsessive-compulsive behaviors. Cedar is obsessed about the glassmakers. Is there a way to coax her into the clinic? I say, we all seek a peaceful solution. Sometimes you have to fight, she counters. She stands and paces to give her words more emphasis. We can't keep them drugged forever, and the first chance they get, they'll attack. If these were eagles, you'd want to wipe them out. Eagles lack that level of intelligence, I say, having found a mindful route. Moreover, there are few glassmakers. Extinction is uncivilized. Where possible, even eagles should not be eliminated, merely dispatched to hunt elsewhere. They eat deer crabs, which eat plants, including me, so I appreciate their ecological niche. Eagles are intelligent enough. They use fire. Don't be a tulip. It's us versus them. And there's 52 orphans, and we have, at most, 100 good fighters. And glassmakers are fast, so they have the advantage. Dan, Lucille says. So what you're saying is to kill them now? She, Cedar, and I can read the frowns, the shaking of heads, the downcast eyes, the little movements that betray the thoughts of the rest of the committee. No one wants to kill them. Bartholomew translates for CU, who is attending the meeting. Her reaction is unreadable, although I sense a scent whose meaning I do not know. This is stupid, Cedar says. We could get it over with. We don't have time to sit around and wait. We have to plant. We have to hunt. What do you have to offer? Wait and talk? That's not a plan. Words will get us all killed. She sits down hard, display of displaced anger. Pacifists have been hunting and working in the fields. They have replanted ravaged crops and called up on enough primary tasks to have time for occasional optional labors. They have picked crocus anthers to make spice, and they have set traps for young ribbon plants to cultivate them for their fibers. Hunters have slain deer and birds dislocated by the flood, providing good meals. Foresters have snagged logs floating in the river to dry for winter firewood. Pacifists have accomplished much, as members of the committee report, and Cedar's pessimism is disputed. The cooperative females, majors, and workers have begun to join the city's workforce. Glassmakers are great, a farmer says. We can do 4 days' work in only 3 days, even though they're still learning, and we need to watch their health. If we can get the rest to cooperate, think of it. Think of what we can do. People smile. Bartholomew translates, and CU emits perfume. 9 odds. This morning, he asked me to grow flutes with mouthpieces suitable for glassmakers. Glassmakers' sense communication will likely remain beyond the humans, but I am developing specific sensory organs and specialized routes to understand them. CU has given me lessons, and I'm beginning to glimpse the underlying grammar. For example, methyl alcohol means welcome or relax, and this is the active ingredient in truffle, which humans sense as faintly sweet and pleasant. Come is a methyl alcohol. By contrast, each glassmaker family has its own identifying smell. A heavy, lingering oil produced only by the female that requires a greater degree of proximity for detection. Welcome or come are easy for any cast member to fabricate and diffuse quickly over a wide area, and their uses are many. Identification is specific, control, and lasting. Anyone can say, be relaxed. Few glassmakers can say, you are mine. CU has anointed Lucille, Mary, and Bartholomew to understand and appreciate the message. There are many more smells. This is baby talk. CU told me after today's lesson, which involved eugenol, a sweet, spicy phenol that means, what do you see? You speak and smell baby talk, she said, which I decided to interpret as praise. I have learned some basics. There's much mutualism to celebrate. The committee meeting ends. Humans and glassmakers go home and sleep. Thank you.